What's up everyone, my name is Cody Engel, and in this video we are going to talk about 5 programming languages that I think are worth learning in 2020, and I'll also kind of go over why some of the languages that didn't make this list, sort of why they didn't. So with that, let's get into it. If you're excited about learning a new language in 2020, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, and yeah. Awkward intro over, let's get into it. For this video, putting together these different languages, I use some general metrics to help guide my decision making, and with that there is this index called the PyPL index, or PYPL, and it shows you how much a language was searched on Google month over month. This one I tried to find ones that had a good trend upwards, so they weren't trending down month over month. Stack Overflow, just looking at the number of questions there are, like does this language have many people asking questions, many people answering questions? Looking at GitHub repositories, so if you're going to learn this new language and invest this time, do you have libraries that you can use that can make your life easier, or are you going to have to write everything from scratch? Ones on this list, they have a good amount of libraries on GitHub that can help you get started on your projects. LinkedIn, I use that to determine how many jobs are out there, and Reddit for good measure, just to see the subreddit following that they have, and all of that. With that though, those weren't the sole determining factors. My own decision making kind of came into play, and you'll see that with some of the languages that I chose. The first language to learn in 2020, or the one that I am excited to learn in 2020, is going to be Python. So my university, actually, they didn't teach Python. I can read Python, I can hack around Python, it's not too bad, but it's a language that I haven't invested a ton of time in learning. So just for the numbers real quick, it's ranked number 1 for PyPL. Its trend is up 4.1%, which is huge. Has 1.3 million Stack Overflow questions. GitHub repositories, it has over 1 million that are written in Python. LinkedIn jobs, you have 291,000, and for their Reddit subscribers, you're looking at 476,000. So in terms of a language, it has a really sound footing. It's been around for quite a while, 3 decades, I think. It's been around since around like 1990. And you can use it for a variety of things. You can use it for web development, machine learning, education, so anyone in college, going into college, Python is probably a language you're going to be learning about, as well as just for general software development. So YouTube has some foundations in it. The company I work for, we have a pretty good Python following as well. It's a good language. It's trending up. Only language on this list that's more of like an interpreted language, so you can kind of jump in with a simple text editor, type some code, write some scripts, make your life easier, and kind of go with it. So number 2. This one is a language that I already know. It's a language that I'm going to keep promoting until either people love it or it just goes downhill. But right now it's still been trending up a lot, so that one would be Kotlin. I have a number of Kotlin tutorials out there and things like that. It's a language in general I love. Its PyPL rank, it's 12, so not number 1. But it's trending up still. It's up 0.5% for the year, one of the highest trends on there. Stack Overflow questions, you have 32,000, so not quite 1.3 million, but it's getting there. GitHub repositories, you have 11,000 that are written in just Kotlin, but I want to point out Kotlin is interoperable with Java. So if you take Java into account, Java has 3 million libraries on GitHub, so you have a fantastic solid ground. And one of the reasons why you probably see fewer GitHub repositories for Kotlin is because of that interoperability. There are just libraries you don't need to write because they've existed in Java for years. LinkedIn jobs, you're looking at about 14,000, and their Reddit subscribers is 24.6 thousand. So a little bit less on the community side. The main thing to point out though is that it is continuing to grow. It is continuing to find its more of a solid footing. With Kotlin, what you can kind of expect to write with that language is Android would be really like the number 1. That's where Kotlin got a lot of its true foothold. It is with that. You can also use it for cross-platform development as well. So you can write code in Kotlin and have that compile over to iOS. You can write code in Kotlin, have it transpile to JavaScript and run on a web front end. And then, of course, like I said, on Android. Other things that this is used for, so you have just general software development. You can, anywhere that the JVM runs, Kotlin will run without a problem. On top of that, they have their native aspect, so freeing it from the JVM so Kotlin doesn't have to rely on the JVM. Again, kind of like it can run on iOS. That is it for Kotlin. It's not the last time I'm probably going to talk about it, so. All right, so number 3 would be Go. So this one, its pipe rank is 15. The trend, it's up 0.3%. It has 42,000 Stack Overflow questions out there. GitHub repositories in Go, about 119,000. LinkedIn jobs, this one's a little bit shaky. I'm going to give you the one number and then the number that I think is more likely. So 714,047 jobs if you search for Go. From just like some grokking and just clicking around the search results, a lot of them seemed like they were for developer jobs, so that number might be true. If I search for Golang, which is what Go also goes by, you're looking at 11,301, which to me makes a little bit more sense, but maybe I'm really missing something. Regardless though, you have jobs, you can get a job as a Go developer. The Reddit subs, they're at 98,000. Yeah, 98,000. I don't know why I paused there. Really, like the reason why I'm excited about Go is we were using it a bit on a project that I was just sort of like in earshot of. Wasn't working on the project, but they were comparing Go to Java and kind of why you would use one over the other. And one thing that struck me was Go doesn't require any sort of real environment to run on. You can spin up just a vanilla Docker image without anything, drop the Go binary in there, and then it'll just sort of run. So there's not really much for dependencies for setting it up. It sounds like really just an amazing language to use. I can see it being used a lot more for like microservices. Again, with that low footprint, anytime you have one instance fail, being able to spin up another instance where the only dependency is that binary that you're shipping, you're going to be able to spin up dependencies spin up new instances much quicker. Not only that, it's just looking at the syntax and everything like that, it just looks like a fun language. It looks like one that would be enjoyable to write. There's some constraints with it too, like I believe it doesn't have inheritance, which to me scares me, but also that's kind of a good thing. Sometimes those constraints push you into different design decisions that can help you influence what you do in other languages. So yeah, overall, just a pretty neat language. I don't see it going anywhere. It's been around for a while as well. And it's, yeah, be a good one to learn. Let's get into number 4. So this one would be one that I've been looking at for a while now. Don't know if I will get the chance to actually play around with it too much, but looking at its Rust. So this one, its pipe rank, it's 18. Its trend is 0.2%. So again, it's trending upwards. None of the ones on this list are trending downwards or flatlined. So the Stack Overflow questions, we're looking at 14,573. GitHub repositories, you have 36,000. So pretty good. Not as good as Python, but better than Kotlin. You're looking at the LinkedIn jobs, about 13,402 people looking for Rust developers. One thing that I remember seeing though that's interesting is a lot of the top roles are for Mozilla, which I think makes sense because Mozilla works a lot with Rust. And then the Reddit subscribers, you're looking at about 84,000, 84.7, 85,000-ish. Why do you think it's worth learning Rust? So really for this, I just keep hearing about it. There's one engineer that works on a team I work closely with. He just talks about Rust all the time. There's some people who are like, oh, let's use Go. There's other people, me, they're like, oh, let's use Kotlin. He just kind of throws it out there like, oh, why don't we just do it in Rust? And so with that though, kind of like looking at how it's continuing to grow and build up and all of that. So looking into it more, this language, it's really known for performance. So in terms of if you want to do something that's going to be a little bit closer to C, you could use Go, but another one would be, looking at Rust. Like, it seems like it's getting to be a bit more like the modern C-ish language. And from their own website, they suggest using Rust for command line, WebAssembly, networking, and embedded systems. So they're not necessarily targeting the same demographics as, say, Go or Kotlin or Python. They're targeting a completely different subset. So that's partly why this made the list. Also, just kind of, again, looking at it from what I've heard about it, it seems like it's one of those languages that if you learn it, you understand it, you're going to be a better developer using other languages as well. The last one, number 5, Dart. Just kind of threw that out there real quick. So this one, is Pipel rank is 20. It has a trend of 0.2%. In terms of Stack Overflow questions, it's at about 23,925. It has about 6,000 GitHub repositories that are written with Dart. LinkedIn jobs, 15,737. And about 11,000 Reddit subscribers. This one, it's kind of a weird pick, kind of a weird one to throw out there. And the main reason why I'm throwing Dart, I didn't think of that one, but is it's becoming much more like that, like cross-platform development environment. If you want to write a client, or if you want to write client code once, so let's say you want to write an iOS, an Android, and a web app, Dart is starting to set you up pretty well with that, with its framework Flutter. While Dart has been around for a while, Google originally wanted to use it to kill off JavaScript, failed miserably. It's now picking up more steam with this framework called Flutter. And what that framework does is it allows you to write code in Dart, and then you can have that compile off into a Android and iOS sort of binary. There's a lot more than that with Flutter. Kind of what they're doing is pretty interesting. So if you're interested in me going more in depth about Flutter, just let me know in the comments. Would be more than happy to give a video on that. They're now starting to also get a little bit more into the web side of client development too. So yeah, Dart just, it seems like a good one if you want to have like hobby projects that will run anywhere. It could be a good one to pick up. That is it for the languages to learn in 2020. Now, kind of before you get angry at me with the ones that I've excluded, let me talk through a couple. Java. That one I'm not going to go through the ranks. Its trend was trending down, but the reason why I'm saying don't learn Java is I don't see there being a strong upward growth in that area. I mean, there's always going to be people that need to write code in Java. You can find plenty of jobs as a Java developer. If that's what you want to do it. Don't let this video dissuade you. But for me, I'm looking at what languages are going to continue to grow and continue to have more demand over time. And Java just seems like it is getting to that point where it's sort of just, it's flatlining. It's not going anywhere. It has, like, again, 3 million GitHub repositories. It's a very sound language, but that growth, that employers looking for those niche experts, you're going to have a hard time breaking into that with Java. So JavaScript, omitted that one. Flutter kind of can help you with sort of what JavaScript does-ish. The other one that I would point out is TypeScript is another thing that is starting to take more of a foothold. Yes, understanding JavaScript will make you write TypeScript much better. You'll have an easier time knowing what it's doing. But if I was going to invest time learning, say, I can only learn one, JavaScript or TypeScript, I'd probably learn TypeScript. And for me personally, I'm not interested in either. But again, JavaScript, another language very similar to Java in terms of it's here, its trend is flat. So it's not going down. It has a ton of Stack Overflow questions. It has a ton of GitHub repositories, tons of LinkedIn jobs. So it's not going anywhere, but it's not a language that I personally will be investing time in learning. Another one that you might see that's fairly popular out there, C#. This is actually a language that I have enjoyed writing projects in. It's part of the reason why I enjoyed Kotlin, because the magic setters and getters that you have in C# are also something that Kotlin has. But again, it's trending downward. Similar, just like Java and JavaScript, you will be able to get jobs doing C#. In the like startup world, or it seemed like tech scene for the most part, like you're not seeing that many people getting jobs as C# developers. Enterprise world, working in like MS Server, C# is the way to go. And again, great language. If you want to learn it. It's, for me, not going to be one that I'm learning though. The last one, this one is partly because I didn't want to make this the 6 languages you should learn, but Swift is another one, which this one, again, it's not going anywhere. It is the language that you're going to use if you are an iOS developer. And if you want to learn how to do iOS, learn Swift. Don't learn Objective-C, of course. But it's one of those ones for me, again, looking at the languages that I want to learn in 2020. I'm looking more at kind of broadening my horizons. I cannot write a native iOS app without some Swift. But I could use Flutter if I wanted to write my own side project. I would honestly probably use Flutter for that. And kind of with Kotlin, you can do a lot of general things with that as well. So for me, where my general skill set and interests are, Swift isn't quite there. But again, it has a ton of job opportunities out there. iOS is a great place to be. Just like the rest of this video, these are all sort of my own opinions on things. I hope I was able to give reasons to learn those languages if you are interested in it. In terms of the ones that I'm not going to be investing time in. That's it. That's kind of an awkward place to end the video, but I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what languages you are excited about learning in 2020, and otherwise I will catch you in the next one. Bye. That was like a little bye. Yeah, I mean, I just hope that doesn't come off harsh for the ones that are being excluded, because all the ones that I'm purposely excluding and then calling out are still fantastic languages to learn. So hopefully you're not mad. The ones that I did not call out and were excluded, those ones are probably still okay. You really can't go wrong learning any language in 2020, to be honest. But that's it. Maybe this will make the cut. Maybe this will be like the end screen.